Okay, Giorgio, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning to everybody, and welcome to the closing event of the project Icaro. Icaro is an Erasmus Plus project co-funded by the European Commission, which wants to develop new qualifications for technological and organizational innovation in the building sector. It is an international project that aims at training a new generation of site technicians, able to respond to the challenges imposed by new technologies and to the new regulatory framework in the building sector. The project partners come from 4 countries: Italy, Lithuania, Spain, and Belgium. We have 3 national vocational training organizations operating in the building sector, which are Formedil, Fundación Laboral de la Construcción, Vilnius Building Training Center, a regional center, which is Fundación Laboral de la Construcción Asturias, a provincial center, Istituto per l'istruzione professionale dei lavoratori edili, a European Professional Association, Architects Council of Europe, the Panevezis Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Crafts, and the University of Bologna. Before starting the meeting, I remind some housekeeping rules. Your microphone will be muted and your camera will be automatically off, but you can interact with the speakers by writing in the Q&A chat box during the whole meeting. The first session of the meeting will last until 11:10. Then we will have an instant poll and a coffee break of 15 minutes. Then we will have the second session of the meeting until 12:50. And last but not least, a Q&A session with closing remarks. Please keep in mind that the event will be held in English, but it will be given simultaneous translations in the official languages of the project partners: Italian, Lithuanian, and Spanish. Coming back to the project, Icaro wishes to improve the planning of training activities that lead to the VIT qualification at European level, involving students, enterprise, and the system of professions. Work-based learning and apprenticeships should become the paradigm of training to introduce elements of flexibility within the curricula. In short, Icaro plans to develop a qualification of work site technician, which refers to a multifunctional technical profile, able to supervise activities on the building site, to coordinate the building and the renovation process, to follow the planning, management, and supervision of works, optimizing the human resources involved. This is a strategic objective because all the studies conducted on the labor market at national and at European level highlight the need for training technicians who know how to master new technologies to apply them in the workplace. The demand for qualified technicians updated on new technologies is strong in all sectors, but is especially high in the construction sector. Labor market analysis show a lack of qualified technicians in this sector, and this reduces the productivity of companies, increases research and turnover in the workplace, and hinders the adoption of new technologies. A deficit in the pool of skills can be a constraint on the company's ability to continue to expand. Today, the final results of this project will be presented. The project has lasted about 2 years, from the end of 2018 to year 2020. But before beginning with the planned speakers, I would ask Mr. Pavel Krempasky from EACA, the agency of European Commission which manages Erasmus Plus project, to say some words about these initiatives. The floor to Mr. Krempasky.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Firstly, I wish to check, can you hear me? Can you see the slides?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, Giorgio. Thank you very much also, Rosella, that you gave me 5 minutes for the welcome speech. As you can imagine, there are many meetings, as I was not sure a few days ago if I can participate, but finally it was possible, and I'm glad that I will participate. I'm not sure if until the end of the conference, but for sure in the most important part of it. So let me say really few words. As we can say, we were on the other side of your project. We were in constant contact with Rosella when she was managing this project. So as the welcome speech will be short, I will say only a few words. I will say what organizations I work for, then a few words about your project and what could be the follow-up. Please, the next slide. This is the building where the Education, Audiovisual and Culture Executive Agency has its headquarters. Next week on Tuesday, it will be exactly 1 year that the building is empty, because as you can imagine, and as in your case, we have been teleworking from 16 March 2020. Otherwise, if there is no corona, then we organize in the building meetings of projects. So the title of the name of the organization is quite long, and you can ask what we are doing. To make it very simple, we have in the commission, we can say the two main parts. One are the DGs, Directorate Generals. They are dealing with the policy. Together with the member states, they are setting priorities for programs. And on the other side, we can say they are executive agencies. One of them is the Agency of Education, Audiovisual and Culture Executive Agency I work for. And our main task and main job is to manage programs and to implement the priorities defined by DGs in cooperation with the member states. Please, the next slide. The reason why the name of our agency is so long is in order to reflect the different and diverse programs we manage. As you can see, we are not active only in the educational field. The biggest program we manage is Erasmus+, but we support projects also in the cultural industry and also projects dealing with citizenship. And as you can see, not only inside the European Union, but also in cooperation with other countries from other continents. Please, the next slides. So in general, if you wish to keep in touch with us, here there are some social media of different programs and also different DGs, and mainly the Erasmus Plus program. So this is at least to introduce our agency. Please, the next slide. And now a few words about your project, why your project was important and still is important, because it is still running. Of course, you did the survey. Of the details will be introduced by your colleagues in the next minutes, and you prepared the joint qualification. This is the main, of course, your main results of the project, and this is also one of the biggest innovation. But I would like to highlight that except of this, there are also other topics and themes that you tackled, and they are important, and even they will be important in the coming years. And these are the themes like digitalization and environmental issues and energy. These are really, as you know, these are really the topics that will be really on the top of the policy agenda, and therefore I see big potential for spreading the results of your project also to other organizations, even to other countries. At the same time, you were dealing also with the issue that is really more than important in this time of corona crisis. This is unemployment, and specifically unemployment of young persons. So therefore, this is again something what is important in your project, and what could be of benefit for other organizations. At the same time, and this is not very often, I must say, in the projects, at least managed by our unit dealing with vocational education and training, you were trying to support also women to enter these technical professions. So you were dealing also with the gender issue. And last 3 points, as all projects that we try to support in the field of vocational education training, you were dealing also with the work-based learning. Work-based learning that was proved as a very efficient method how to minimize the gap between the needs of companies and offer of the VET providers. At the same time, one of the characteristics of work-based learning is also heavy involvement of social partners. This was also highlighted in your project. And overall, with your project, what you supported is the mobility. Because what will be important after the end of the project, that finally your results will help people to move from one region to other region, from one country to other country. And the last slide, or two last slide. And as I already mentioned, some kind of follow-up of your project. One of the way how you can spread and disseminate the results you produce is you can contact also other projects, similar projects, active in the construction or similar areas. Here I wanted only to remind you that the list of projects approved in sector skills alliances, because these projects, sector skills alliances, are very close to your projects. They are also dealing with sectoral improvements and sectoral needs and training. So you can find the list under the link, and also in the Erasmus Plus project result platform. Please, the last slide. As I mentioned, and I know that you know very well, the sector skills alliances project could be one way how you can disseminate your project after the end. And I know you did it already, because in one of the leader of the sector skills alliances project in construction is your partner, Fundación Laboral de Construcción. So therefore, this project was approved in the year 2018. On the slides, you can see that every year our agency approves around between 4 and 5 sector skills alliances projects, so-called blueprint projects. They are very huge. I know that you are informed. This could be the future of your results. But I would like also to remind you that last year we approved the blueprint project. They are projects for 4 million euro, lasting for 4 years. We approved the project in the sector of cultural heritage. The leader of this project, the main project manager, is the University of Barcelona. So I think it will be useful also to contact this project and show them the result that you produce. So I think that was the last point from my side. I thank you for your effort you did in the project, and I wish you that also after 1 year you will be able to organize even an informal meeting, and you will discuss how you implement it and how you use the results you produced, and not only you, but perhaps also the other VET providers in your region, in your country, or even outside your country. I wish you good luck with your conference.
Okay, thank you very much to Mr. Krempalski for this interesting overview at European level, but also for raising some important features of the Icaro project, as the emphasis on digitalization and new technologies, the social partners' involvement, the fight to young people unemployment, the support to mobility, and also thanks for the final inputs you gave about the future of the project. Now I give the floor to Marco Alvise Bragadin. Sorry, Marco. First, I have to say that to remind that the morning schedule is very busy. So I ask the speakers to stick strictly to the times indicated in the schedule. I remind also all the participants that you can use the Q&A chat box at any time of the event. So Marco Alvise Bragadin is Associate Professor of Building Productions at University of Bologna. Professor Bragadin will present the innovation needs of the construction sector in Europe. Professor Bragadin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Aluli. Thank you very much. And can you hear me? I will share my screen. Okay.
Yes, please, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. So good morning, everybody. My name is Marco Bragadin. I will present you the construction sector in Europe and some innovation needs. The construction sector in Europe is a major component of the EU economy, approximately 9% of our GDP, 18 million direct jobs and 3 million enterprises. So construction industry is the crossroads of different value chains and has a unique nature. It's a paradox in many ways. It's one of the largest industries, but the vast majority of its hundreds of thousands of participants are small, medium enterprises. Small, medium enterprises are intensively competitive, so it's an intensively competitive market. And construction is a low-tech industry, meaning that technologies and market conditions may change slowly. And this low-tech definition is based on the industry's low research and development intensity and small numbers of people employed directly in R&D. So mainly comprises small and medium enterprises with the associated challenges it generates. Construction is an industry like no other. Construction characteristics such as the large number of small and medium enterprises, the fragmentation and divisiveness, the service-oriented characteristics makes impossible to influence the demand for its products or to control the supply chain. Consequently, the instability of the demand conditions all the industry. Therefore, some characteristics of construction are unchangeable. Seasonality, the high reaction on basic business and economic cycles, the lack of mobility of resources. Okay, there is too much work in some regions and recession in other regions at the same time. Problems of funding both large and small projects. And always construction is addressed by government, fiscal, and social policy, meaning that is an incentive-oriented business. The construction industry, in contrast to other industries that produce goods, has to create a construction site that is the equivalent to the factory in other sectors, but moves from project to project, not remaining at a fixed location. So meanwhile, its product, the finished building or the civil infrastructures, remains fixed and is not shipped out when completed. At the same time, construction output is a tangible asset. So construction enterprises do not belong to the service sector in its classical sense, that is producing intangible goods as end products. And workers must come to the construction site, wherever it's located. Companies cannot move sites to where labor is available. So construction cannot be compared with any other sectors. Construction industries is highly fragmented and has failed to fully integrate innovation technologies and processes that has been successful in other sectors. For instance, just to mention a few of them, just-in-time delivery, the partnering with suppliers, the supply chain management, off-site manufacturing, and finally, digital information and communication technology. So just to quote the Australian expert group on industry studies, that addresses, they addressed construction industry as a product and process system, as opposed to a cluster, a complex, or a sector, because construction industry entails both services and manufacturing, and there is a very low impact of innovation in construction product, processes, and services. So some words to focus on the construction product system. So first of all, the construction product is prototypical and immovable. So building is a prototype and is strongly conditioned by the context. The location affects materials and technical compounds used. It depends on urban development potential of area. It is impossible to store product in a warehouse. Finally, the owner and the final client can be different players. This is something that creates some more difficulties, some new difficulties. Concerning the building cost and duration, the service life can be very long because of renovation and restoration works, and economic values of the product depends on location. That is, the revenue from position can exceed construction costs, minimizing the income from process efficiency. So also the final cost of building is very high compared to normal industrial products. And so construction depends on financial market cycles. Something concerning construction market, the uncertainty due to the economical cycle, state policy can influence building market, and usually governments use construction industry to hinder economic decrease. And also a big problem concerning the business model is that the building contract is signed before production. Concerning the process is has a strong temporality and is a multi-players process. So a new production company need to be created for each new construction job site. The multi-players environment creates much more difficulties because different players have different project objectives concerning cost, quality, time, scope, and other project objectives. So another very interesting feature is that the process drivers in a specific project are chosen by players that first enter in process. So there is no overall complete cost-benefit project optimization. Another interesting characteristic is the low economic value of process efficiency. Process efficiency, meaning with this the time and cost performance, can be less important than economic value of the built assets, especially considering the expected building functions and their economic and sociocultural value. Think of housing, think of civil infrastructure like highways. Although poor planning and design can have important consequences on time, cost, and quality of process and product, and so on project efficiency and reliability. Finally, the difficult evaluation of the relationship between product lifecycle quality and process quality make things even more difficult, because the lifecycle quality is the sum of the initial stage quality and the service life quality. And the construction complexity makes uncertain the relationship between whole life quality and production process quality. So there is need for a change. Generally, the characteristic of the product and process system of construction that reflect the need for a change include the following points. So there is a divisive organization into silos of interest, little alignment of objectives among the silos. Each player searches for the optimization of its own interests, the information flow problems between players. So there is a significant duplication of effort, inefficiency, and waste in construction projects. Product delivery approaches do not help this situation, because the building procurement models and contracts are reinforcing barriers to collaboration and integration. So the need for a change, we have, in my opinion, very important documents one of the European Commission, one of the UK that was in Europe just one year, until 1 year ago, and the Construction 2050 paper of construction, European construction stakeholders. So starting with the UK construction 2025 strategy, we can see this SWOT analysis of the construction content. So there are some strengths. The key sector, construction is a key sector to economy, has a wider economic significance, meaning it produces roads, schools, hospitals, homes. It has a large supply chain and low entry cost and low capital, but has some weaknesses: the sector integration, low levels of innovation, lack of collaboration, limited knowledge sharing, and high construction costs. Some opportunities: large growth opportunities in emerging markets, the low carbon construction and building sustainability, the wide implementation of build technology, and the cost reduction due to project and process efficiency. Threats: access to finance, particularly for small and medium enterprises, the need of skills, the lack of career attraction, also the international trade context, and the high degree of fragmentation. So the vision of the UK Construction 2025 strategies has 5 very interesting points. The first one is people, an industry that is known for its talented and diverse workforce. It should be smart. Construction should be smart, an industry that is efficient and technologically advanced. It should be sustainable, an industry that leads the world in low carbon and green construction effort. Growth, an industry that drives growth, economic growth across the entire European Union, world. The leadership, also leadership, it's important. In the UK, they have this leadership construction council that gives some very interesting information concerning these strategies. Some priorities: smart construction and digital design, low carbon and sustainable construction, and the need to improve the trade performances. Success in these priority areas depends on having a skilled, motivated, and diverse workforce. So the construction, the EU Construction 2020 initiative in 2012, the European Union issued this document concerning the construction competitiveness. And again, we have 5 points: financing and digitalization, especially for the energy efficient investment in the renovation of buildings, and for research and the innovation in a smart, sustainable, and inclusive environment. The need for skills and qualification, workforce and management training for job creation, through upskilling and apprenticeship to meet demands for new competencies. Resource efficiency, focusing on low emission construction, focusing on recycling, the valorization of construction and demolition waste reduction. The regulatory framework, the emphasis on reducing the administrative burden for the enterprises, particularly for small and medium enterprises, and the international competition, encouraging the uptake of Eurocodes and promoting the spread of new financial tools and contractual arrangements in non-EU countries. So finally, the construction 2050 paper by the EU construction stakeholders, again, 5 points to innovate the construction sector: safer and better jobs, sustainable construction, decarbonization, digital transformation and collaboration, research and innovation, new business models, building information modeling, off-site manufacturing, infrastructure maintenance, and urban development. So we have finally 3 drivers of change: so the workforce, the need to improve the image of the industry, and to increase the capability and the skills of the workforce using ICT and in creating safer jobs. The construction, procurement, and value chain. So the need to have a strong value chain because of financial arrangements, the certainty of payments, early contractor involvement, and effective site management. And the procurement, so the need to introduce integrated project delivery and introduce new innovative business models. Finally, another driver of change, or a set of drivers of change, is the research and innovation, meaning green construction, smart construction, digital engineering and design, building information modeling, and off-site manufacturing. So thank you. I hope to be in my timeline. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much to Professor Bragadin for this very interesting overview of building sector, and for reminding how strategic it is for European economy, also for the main drivers of change of this sector. Now it's the turn of Rossella Martino. Sorry, before Rossella, we will watch a short animation video summarizing the main objective of the Icaro project.
Reason, only 10% of construction trainees are female. An urgent generational and cultural change would steer unemployed people towards qualified professions to meet the labour market demands. That's where Icaro comes in, an Erasmus Plus project of 8 partners who share the same vision, to train a new generation of construction site technicians.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the technical issue. We're going to replay the video from the beginning. Thank you.
The building sector is facing a paradigm shift, with stakeholders needing to keep pace with technology more so than before. Despite its growing possibilities, construction doesn't appeal to the younger generations who perceive it as a manual, hard work environment. Women too shy away from careers in construction for the same reason. Only 10% of construction trainees are female. An urgent generational and cultural change would steer unemployed people towards qualified professions to meet the labour market demands. That's where Icaro comes in, an Erasmus Plus project of 8 partners who share the same vision, to train a new generation of construction site technicians. This European project is developing a new construction site technician qualification, a multifunctional profile able to respond to the challenges of the building industry. The qualification scheme has been developed by 5 vocational training centres, a European professional association, a chamber of commerce, and a university. The qualification scheme comprises 7 learning units. Number 1, preliminary work site activities. In this phase, the construction technician addresses health and safety issues, as well as environmental and circular economy solutions applied to construction. 2, construction site management and coordination by preparing technical documentation, selecting the construction materials, and coordinating different working groups. 3, energy efficiency and sustainable construction. The construction technician helps reduce the energy demand of buildings by applying renewable energy solutions to buildings. 4, waste management, which means monitoring the waste chain in construction and demolition. 5, digitalization. Today's construction technicians need to understand and navigate the digital environments mostly used in the sector, like CAD and BIM. Soft skills. These include problem solving, time management, and flexibility. They are essential in a multidisciplinary sector such as construction. Number 7, site-specific skills. This refers to general knowledge about industrialized construction, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electricity systems. With its 7 work-based learning units, the scheme is set to revitalise the building sector by training up a new generation of young technicians and by promoting high-quality career paths in line with the job market. Furthermore, the Icaro qualification will be recognised by 2 international frameworks, EQF and ECVET. The EU's latest decarbonisation initiatives, Renovation Wave and New Bauhaus, stand to gain much from the Icaro's trainees, who will be skilled in energy efficiency, digitalisation and circular economy. Learn more about Icaro on our website and social media. Let's create a new generation of buildings together.
Okay. Can we begin again? Now it's the turn of Rossella Martino. Mrs. Martino is the coordinator of Icaro project on behalf of Formedi, and she will give an insightful overview of the project vision and objectives. Please, Rossella.
Okay.
Yes, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chairman. Before starting with my speech, some wishes. I would like to thank all the Icaro project partners that has worked with difficulty but with commitment in this coronavirus to complete the project in excellence. And I would also thank all my collaborators and also Mr. Pavel Krepansky, our European officer, for being here and also for following us in these long times, the life of the project with determination and with care. And also I would like to thank other European partners for in the other project we are involved in, because I know they are following this European event. And I hope that this new qualification will take place in the country involved with the project, and also in other countries, partially or totally in the national regulation repertory or in the training program. And I hope also that this new qualification could be an innovative way, profile that can attract young people and women. And I wish to thank also another organization, one of all the training center that Formedi coordinate, but in particular the training school of Belluno that have strongly supported this idea to set up a new profile for the technician in the building site. And finally, I will go on with my presentation. Thank you very much. Okay. The call and partnership. We are in the field of Erasmus project, you know, and the call is a joint qualification, vocational education, training vet. A key activity 3. The project lasts 2 years, but with the COVID as the main project in Europe, we asked for an extension, and so we are finished now. It's running already now running the project, but we are still finished. Partnership. 8 partners from 4 countries. Italy, Formedil, Alma Mater Studiorum, is the University of Bologna. IPLE is our training center of Bologna. And Spain, la Fundación Laboral de Madrid, la Fundación Laboral de Oviedo. Lithuania, the training center from Vilnius for the construction sector, and the Chamber of Commerce. Belgium, le Conseil d'Architectes d'Europe, and 4 associated partners: Italy, Regione Emilia-Romagna, Spain, Universidad de Oviedo, Lithuania, Centro de Formación, Belgium, la Federazione European Federation of Building Constructors, and 6 event providers: Oviedo, Madrid, University of Bologna, Formedil, the Training School of Bologna, and the Training School in Lithuanian in Vilnius. 2 sectoral representative professionals, the Chamber of Commerce and the Conseil d'Architectes d'Europe. The starting point. Why we start with this idea? The scenario: lack of skilled construction workers, need of new specific skills not covered by the VET system. More than 40% of employers in Europe have trouble in finding people with the skill they need. Key areas for the project: transversal skills, digital skills, health safety, energy efficiency, waste management. General goals: revitalize the construction industry in the need of replacement, orienting young and unemployment people towards qualified profession, more attractiveness. Development of new skills and occupation dealing with green and digital competence and in a gender manner, using new pedagogical methods, work-based learning and mobility. The main goal of the project: improve the qualification of the site manager. How? More competitiveness, innovation, high level of employability. Improving the planning of the professional training activities lead to the VET qualification. Updating the professional training and employment policies. Creating a training qualification scheme at sectoral European level. The direct and indirect beneficiaries: young people, male and female, unemployed. Construction companies and employers and trade unions associations. Teachers, tutors, trainers operating within the VET framework, association of professionals, institutions involved in the areas of training and employment policies. Endorsement and associated partner. This is a very important part of the European project in general. Dissemination and endorsement from the associated partners. Endorsement by stakeholders, dissemination, inspiration, and impact. Introduction to the work page. Now we can go into the activities we have done. The first work package is the project management and the coordination, and the leaders is Formedil. We will have to guarantee the success of the launch, the implementation, conclusion of the project, and to provide management of financial and administrative aspects. Provide management and monitoring the technical issue. Now we start with the main important themes of the project. Framing the innovation. Gap analysis of the existing qualification and identification of the needs in the building sector. Leader, FLC de Madrid. In the work P2, we have 3 tasks. The first is analysis of the professional training system in the building and construction sector. The second, survey within the construction company, led by Eqf. The third, review of the innovative factors requested by EU directive in the construction system. We have already heard by the Professor Bergomini from the University of Bologna, the European innovator scenario in the construction sector. VP3 implementation and update of the common qualification construction site technician. Leader Vilnius Training Center. 3 tasks: guideline for implementing the innovative aspect related to the common qualification constructor site technician. Transnational seminar, multiplier event in conjunction with one project meeting to collect feedback from the main stakeholder associated party, but we have changed this kind of task because of the corona, and so we asked to change with the survey on the competencies we have already done, and we thanks all people that have contributed to give the suggestion. Task 3, reorganization, introduction of a specific training for the qualification construction site technician, leader the News Training Center. The 4th working package, the quality assurance and evaluation. This is also a very important step of all the European project. The leader, FLC Oviedo, to develop the culture of quality management in vocational education and training, to use the ECAVET recommendation to monitor and assess the VET system, taking into account quality management system for the entire life of the project, with 2 tasks: quality plan for defining and sharing the quality plan to guarantee concrete and stable improvement for partnership, stakeholders, target group of the project. And the task 2, analyze of the indicators of the ECAVET and analysis of the indicators of the ECAVET recommendation. The last and important task was the dissemination and exploration, leader formative, with 5 tasks: disseminating strategy, logo, brochure, roll-up, poster, project website and social media, project profile to update at least every 50 days with news, events, newsletter, press release, local dissemination events, leader FLC Madrid, and final conference, leader Conseil des Architectes. And we have not finished because, as Mr. Pavel suggested, we have to we try to implement the project after maybe 1 year of the end of the project, arranging some conferences to already spread the results of this project. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rossella. You described us how much large is the project, and I give you my congratulations because you were able to conduct this project also in a very difficult period like this is with coronavirus. Now it's the turn of Mrs. Laura Mesa from the International Project Department of the Fundación Laboral de la Construcción. Mrs. Mesa will make her presentation on the analysis of the professional training system in the building and construction sector. Mrs. Mesa, the floor is yours, please.
Hello, good morning to everyone. I would also like to thank you to all the participants for your interest in this Icaro closing event. So thank you so much. As Giacomo just mentioned, I'm going to focus my presentation on the analysis of the professional training systems in the building and construction sector. As Rosella mentioned in her presentation, for this analysis, we elaborated a report as part of the work package number 2. And the aims of the report were to describe the current status of the vocational training in the construction sector in the countries under evaluation, that is Italy, Lithuania, and Spain. Also outline the strengths and weaknesses in incorporating the technological and methodological innovation factors. And the last point was to identify the possibilities to align the skills to the innovative factors. As a first point, the vocational education and training in the construction sector in Italy. Vocational training is acquiring a strategic importance in the productive world because on the one hand, it meets the training needs expressed by companies, and on the other hand, it also meets the needs of young people to acquire skills and of the workers to keep them up to date and qualified to cope with the constant changes in the labor market. Also in Italy, the best pathways are carried out by the training structures accredited by the regions according to criteria shared at a national level and or by professional institutes under the subsidiary regime if provided or by the regional planning. In Italy, validation and certification takes place through 3 different pathways. The formal path, that is the training path, that is competence of the regions and is based on the National Directory of Education and Training Provisions. And at the end of the course, a national recognized qualification is expected to be obtained. Also through non-formal path, that is all the other training activities that are provided by the bilateral training system that responds to the immediate needs of the companies. For some non-formal paths, a specific request for examination that is made by the granting authority to the regions is made. And the last one is the informal learning that is understood by the performance by each person of activities in everyday life situations and in the interactions that take place in it in the context of work, family, and leisure time. In Lithuania, vocational education and training in the construction sector is provided by bed providers that can be divided into 4 categories: state, statutory, non-state, and other institutions. Construction sector programs are provided only in state bed institutions, and other institutions allowed to provide vocational trainings. All programs can be implemented only if they were licensed by the Ministry of Education and Science and Sports. And vocational education and training programs are provided by bed schools, bed centers, labor market training centers, and other institutions that are licensed by the ministry. For the validation and certification, the necessary professional competence can be obtained through formal, non-formal, work-based, and informal ways. The skills and knowledge of the applicants are defined on the basis of sectoral qualification standards and relevant for the BED programs. And the individual who pass the exam organized by accredited competence assessment institutions are awarded with a BED diploma. In Spain, there is a decentralized model. The Ministry of Education and Employment are responsible for developing, accrediting, and maintaining official BED qualifications, and the regions have management and administrative competence together with the employment councils and the regional public employment services. For the validation and certification, also the necessary competence can be obtained through formal, non-formal, and informal paths. Here it's important to mention that work-based learning in Spain is understood as all the training out of the formal training. In Spain, dual bed is only included with informal training. However, it only represents around 2% of the total of bed delivery in the country. So in dual bed, it mixes the theoretical part of the programs together with remunerated scholarships or contracts for training and apprenticeships. Currently in Spain, there is a lack of national cooperation tools between the training centers and the companies, which implies the coexistence of different dual bed models and work-based learning systems, depending on the specifics of the territory. And regarding bed for civil works and buildings are both on-site and online modalities. And the e-learning has been identified as one of the most successful options to offer qualified training because it's accessible for all the parties that are interested. As the second point of the report, it's focused on the analysis of the factors of innovation, where we identified gaps and needs in Italy, Lithuania, and Spain regarding the innovation factors considered for this project, that is work-based learning, digitalization, energy efficiency, renewable energy systems, circular economy, gender issues, new materials, and new emerging occupational health and safety risks. This analysis, we took the different professional families within the construction sector, distinguishing the different levels of qualification, mainly levels 2 and 3 for Spain, and 3 and 4 for Italy and Lithuania, and how the mentioned factors were assessed by each qualification. So for this analysis, we grade how these factors were mentioned from 0 to 3, 0 not mentioned at all, and 3 well incorporated within this qualification. So, and now I'm going to show you the results of this analysis. In Italy, regarding the professional family of construction and civil works, as you can see on the graph, work-based learning is well developed within the qualification for both levels, which means that training programs give importance to the practical aspect of the formative process. However, in the level 3, renewable energies, gender aspects, and new OSH risks are not considered at all, which means a deficit within these qualifications. For the professional family, energy and water, visible gaps can be found in the national qualification framework for level 3 regarding digitalization, new materials, gender aspects, and new OSH risks. For level 4, digitalization, new materials, and also new OSH risks, consideration should be better promoted. Regarding the professional family installation and maintenance, in general terms, all factors of innovation should be better considered for level 3, except work-based learning. And for level 4, new materials and new OSH risks aspects should be enhanced within the qualification regarding this professional family. Now we go with Lithuania. For the professional family construction and civil works, in level 3 and 4, the factors of innovation are mentioned practically at the same extent, as you can see in the graphs. Improvements should be made in digitalization and green issues, that is energy efficiency, renewable energy, circular economy, and new materials. However, gender aspects and new emerging risks in occupational health and safety are sufficient considered. For the professional family, energy and water, differences between level 3 and 4 are not very palpable for this professional family either. Digitalization is not considered in qualification level 3 and slightly mentioned in level 4. So this is an important point. And also increase in new materials and circular economy should be promoted. For both levels, also again, gender aspects and OSH risks are included within this professional family. For professional family installation and maintenance, the situation is the same as for the other professional families. Qualifications for level 3 and 4, as you can see in the graph, is more or less at the same extent. Noticeable gaps are identified for digitalization and renewable energies. In Spain, for the professional family construction and civil works, for the level 2, changes should be made in the qualification regarding digitalization, energy efficiency, renewable energy, and gender aspects. Work-based learning and OSH risk should be better developed in the qualification for level 3, although energy efficiency, renewable energy, and gender aspects should be also improved for this level. For the professional family, energy and water in Spain, for level 2, gaps are identified regarding green and gender aspects, whereas for level 3, gender aspects are not assessed enough also regarding green issues. For the professional family installation and maintenance, in general terms, improvements should be made for green issues, gender aspects, and digitalization from both levels of qualification. However, for work-based learning and also new materials and OSH risks are well considered within this professional family. The third point of the report is focused on aligning the skills to the innovative factors and also the role of the partners. I would like to highlight that the partners of this project are quite participate with the social partners also for upgrading or elaborating or updating the qualifications in the construction sector. So it's an important point. For instance, in Italy, a former deal on the basis of the mandate of the social partners has put in place national tools that have made possible the creation of local construction schools and national training systems for the sector. Also, it has participated in updating and further development of national repertories of qualification at national and regional level. In Lithuania, currently there is a development of sectoral qualification through its 18 sectoral professional committees set up to ensure effective social dialogue. This development is taking place through 3 different steps. The first one, qualification research. The second one, a development of a list of qualification. And the last one, development of standard. Social partners in Lithuania participating in shaping the content of new qualifications, qualification standards and BED programs, and assessing the labor market relevance of BED programs. In Spain, we would like to outline that Fundación Laboral de la Construcción has an active participation in the elaboration and update of the National Catalogue of Professional Qualification, jointly with the INQUAL, that is a public organization depending on the Ministry of Education, for the professional family of construction and civil works. Also, Fundación Laboral de la Construcción, through its observatory, has elaborated many reports and analyses of the sector, and all the data is shared with the local BED centers and used by them when meeting local authorities. Thank you so much for your attention, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Laura, for this very clear description of the state of the art of the qualifications in this sector. I think it is a very good starting point for improving the qualification, the existing qualifications, but also for setting new ones. And now it is a time for a quick instant poll to know more about our audience today. I give the floor to the Architects Council of Europe. Please, Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Alulli. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We wanted to welcome you in Brussels. This last event was supposed to be happening there, but unfortunately, we are doing this online. So at least we take this occasion to know more about our audience. First question, please. So the most difficult question nowadays, how are you today? Fine, nice. Have been better, one person? Okay, great. Let's wait a few more seconds. Also to test this tool, in case you cannot see the polls, please drop us a message in the chat and we'll try to fix the problem. Okay, so let's go on with the next question, please. Okay, so 95% are fine. That's nice to hear. Second question. Where are you from? Apologies if some of the countries are not displayed, but this tool allows only a limited amount of options. So we selected the official countries of Icarus, but if you are coming from other countries than Belgium, Italy, Lithuania, and Spain, please drop us a message in the chat. We are curious to hear where you are based on at the moment. Okay, so the majority comes from Italy. Okay, I guess we can close the poll, thanks. So 55% from Italy, 19 from Spain, 12 from Lithuania, and 10% from Belgium. And only 5% from other EU countries. Okay, third question, please. In which sector do you mainly work? Construction, education and training, research, communication, other. Also, if you select other, please feel free to share with us in the chat box. Okay, let's wait a few more seconds. Okay. So 58% come from education and training. That's nice to hear. And then 19 from construction, 14 from other fields. If you can, Joshua Jacobs says logistics. Thanks, Joshua, for sharing. And then 2% communication. Next question, please. Do the topics discussed so far concern your activity? Yes, totally. Yes, partially, or no? 51-49. It's hard. Let's give a few more seconds. Okay, so 52 yes answered that yes, these topics concern their own activities. 48 said that this concern partially their own activities, and nobody said no. So that's wonderful to hear. Last question, please. Do you think a project like Icaro can be relevant for the construction industry? Okay, so 89% said that yes, Icaro can be relevant for the construction industry. Thank you for your feedback. And 11% said that partially the Icaro can be partially relevant for the construction. So that's pretty much a positive feedback, I would say. I give the floor back to Mr. Alulli.
Thank you. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Just a minute. Okay, I must say that due to the coronavirus, we did not have the possibility, unfortunately, we did not have the possibility to organize this event in presence. But the other side of the coin is, so we have had the possibility to check live who our audience is. So this is some good opportunity we had, at least from this situation. Now we have the last presentation before the coffee break. Luisa Sileni from the Istituto Istruzione Professionale Lavoratori Edili di Bologna. Luisa will present the needs of the construction sector, a survey within the construction company system. Please, Luisa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I am Luisa Sileni from IPLE, that is the Vocational Center of Construction Sector in Bologna, in Italy. And now I would like to share the screen. Okay. Okay. I am going to describe the result of a survey within the construction industry concerning the training needs of this sector. The update of construction sector qualifications has become a real necessity following the changes and the challenges too that have involved the construction industry in Europe. We have tried to understand how the skills of workers in construction sector are changing as a result of technological and organizational innovation, as well as of the new regulation and policies belonging to the European regulatory framework. The training needs identified in the survey refer to three types of skills: innovative skills, such as digitalization, energy efficiency, green building, new technologies; and the new materials in the field of construction. Traditional skills, for instance, code drawing, technical accounting, safety management, and so on. Soft skills, for example, team building, problem solving, etc. Here we can see more specifically all the skills we have considered in our survey, that are 16 skills. The survey contains the following questions for each of the 16 skills considered. The first, do you have this expertise within your staff? The answer can be yes or no. The second is, how do you evaluate your staff's skills? The answer is a number from 1 to 5, where 1 represents the poor grade and 5 is the excellent grade. The last, how much do you think this competence is important for your company? In this case, 2, we have considered a scale from 1 to 5 for the answers. The participant companies in our survey were more than 230. In the sample considered in our survey, we would like to highlight these aspects. SMEs are the most highly represented in the target group. Young workers and female staff are present in very small numbers, of course. The construction worker is a prevalent profile. And the sector in which the companies operate are mainly civil and residential works, followed by maintenance and finishing. As you can see, the situation is very similar in the 3 countries. The reference market for most companies is limited to the national or even the local level in all 3 countries. We can see the percentage. This slide shows the skills relating to innovation in construction industry that are considered by the respondents. In our survey, these skills linked with innovation are building information modeling, eco-sustainable building and green building, circular economy, energy efficiency, new technologies, and new materials. The blue column represents the average value on scale from 1 to 5 of those who answered the question. How do you evaluate the skill of your staff? Instead, the red column represents the average value of the importance of the skills for company. We can see how companies are aware of the relevance of these new skills. This means that there is space for improvement in the current skill set for construction workers. This data could help raise awareness among construction companies of the need to invest in innovative skills. This graph shows the answers provided by the company to the question, do you have this expertise within your staff? We can compare the situation in Italy, Lithuania, and Spain, which is clearly quite different, specifically for the skills relating to the drivers of change. For instance, number 2, here, represents the skill of digitalization. We can see that Italian companies are not familiar with the building information modeling process, is the column blue. In fact, only 12% of Italian companies have BIM skills, while in Lithuania the percentage is 58%. Number 11, energy efficiency. The values are much more positive in all three countries. A percentage higher than 36% in Spain, over 40 in Italy, and even higher than 96 in Lithuania. Concerning the more traditional and consolidated skills, the percentages are definitely much more higher. For example, number 1, CAD drawing. More than 58% of the companies located in Lithuania and in Italy, and more than 73% of companies in Spain have this competence. For number 5 and number 7, estimate and technical accounting, 100% of the company in Lithuania, almost 90 in Spain, and 94 in Italy have this competence. This graph shows the answer to the question, how do you evaluate your staff's skills? We can see that Lithuanian companies consistently show the highest rating, the green column. Here we can see the degree of importance of the 16 skills perceived by the companies involved in the survey. A score higher than 4 in a scale 1 to 5 in all countries concerns skill number 5, estimate and technical accounting. Number 7, task accounting, and number 8, safety management. Then number 16, interpersonal skills. The data is relevant because it shows how traditional skills are still fundamental for SMEs of construction sector. This graph basically confirms what we have just seen in the previous slides. In conclusion, what emerges from the survey is that the construction sector is reluctant to change. Cultural constraints seem to discourage or slow down the process of innovation and digitalization. This situation is really highlighted before from Professor Bragadin in his presentation. All this happens despite the awareness of all sectoral stakeholders of how innovation can play a strategic role in increasing performance and competitiveness. The role of vocational education and training could be really important as driver in relation to the revitalization and the revitalization of construction industry, steering young people towards qualified professions that need a generational replacement. We believe that the new qualification of construction site technician could play a relevant role in the shift toward innovation in construction SMEs. This is all for my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Mrs. Ileni for your presentation. I must say that I am hit by the difference value given by the companies of Italy, Spain, and Lithuania to the different skills and competences innovative in this sector. I think it is something that would need a dedicated seminar to analyze why all this great difference. But for the moment, we must stick to this interesting information. Okay, now there is time for a coffee break, and we will see you in 50 minutes. So now is 11:30. We can sit together again at 11:45. Goodbye.
Okay, Giorgio, thank you. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Here we are again. Welcome back to the Icaro closing event. Let's start the second session of the presentation. I will now give the floor to Danielius Burokas, project manager at the Vilnius Builders Training Center, who will present the implementation and update of the common qualification of construction site technician. Please, Danielius, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Danielius from Vilnius Builders Training Center, and I will shortly present you new Icaro qualification of construction site technician. So let's begin. Who is construction site technician? Construction site technician performs the supervision of the tasks related to construction and operation of structures that require hard workmanship. Construction site technician organizes the work of lower qualified technicians, trains lower qualified workers, and assesses their competencies. Construction site technician coordinates his or her task with higher qualified professionals. Why was the need for the new qualification? So as we know, the time is changing, and the existing qualification of construction site technician in some countries like in Italy, in Spain, needs to be upgraded by revising it. And in other countries like Lithuania, there is the need for a new qualification like that here. So this new qualification must reflect two: European Union national or interregional context, the degree of achieved or achievable agreement between the involved institutional actors and the social partners, the considered professional and training field. How this qualification was created? Prior to the development of the Icaro qualification, extensive research was carried out, and the qualification was developed on the basis of the following documents: analysis of the existing web training systems, results of survey on company needs, reports which presents the review of innovative factors requested by European Union directives and policies in the construction industry, guidelines for implementation and update of the common qualification construction site technician, and also examples of profiles of the technical construction site in Italy and Spain. What is EQF level 5? This level basically presents the knowledges and skills which will be achieved when completing the course of this level 5. And when finishing it, the learner should have comprehensive specialized factual and theoretical knowledge within a field of work or study and awareness of the boundaries of that knowledge. A comprehensive range of cognitive and practical skills required to develop creative solutions to attract the problem. Exercise the management and supervision in context of works or study activities where there is unpredictable change. And now, Icaro qualification. Holder of certificate for this qualification may work in the construction sector, and main activities of these qualifications are: coordinate building site process according to stage of building's construction, ensure compliances of applicable regulations, conditions regarding quality, safety, occupational health, and the environment. Plan, organize, and control assigned working units by assigning workloads, managing resources, and ensuring the tasks meet requirements of the project. Perform surveys, monitoring, transmit instructions received from higher technicians, and also be able to overcome unforeseen events which may occur within all construction process. This new qualification is divided into 7 main qualification units. And the first one is construction site technicians preliminary activities. Second is site management and coordination of building site activities. The third is energy efficiency and sustainable construction. Then we have waste management, digitalization, soft skills, and specific skills with reference to the construction site typology. And now we shortly present those 7 units, what the main competencies are of them. And when completing the first qualification unit, the learner will acquire ability to analyze and understand technical projects and planning of working activities. Ability to provide occupational health and safety solutions. Knowledge on circular economy and environmental protection solution at stages of building construction. Ability to apply instruction of the project and technical documentation concerning the environmental resources. Second unit and its main competencies are these: ability to prepare construction documentation under the management of the supervision and be able to manage the daily work. Ability to supervise the implementation of the technical solution of the project. Ability to organize technical construction works on site. And also ability to coordinate construction site staff. Energy efficiency and sustainable construction units has these main competencies. Ability to take care of the implementation of solutions that have been designed and which influence the energy performance of the building. Knowledge on the thermal behavior of the building. Ability to monitor the execution of ventilated facades according to the project design. Ability to monitor the installation of external wall insulation systems. And of course, monitoring of waterproofing and insulation of roofs, walls, and underground floors. When we're talking about waste management, this unit's main competencies are ability to manage the construction and demolition waste chain by overseeing all the steps of this process. And of course, ability to manage the specific types of waste materials. Probably the most important qualification unit nowadays is digitalization. And the competencies acquired after completing this unit are ability to get the information and data needed for the construction work. Ability to translate information with highly technical content to the personnel responsible for execution. Ability to collaborate with the other construction stakeholders and colleagues. Ability to create simple digital content for the explanation of tasks and critical issues concerning the construction site. Ability to collect and manage personal and sensitive data.
I don't.
Yes, we lost Danielus. He dropped off, so I guess he's going to be reconnected in the next few seconds. We're going to wait for him. He has probably internet connection troubles. Let's wait a few seconds, please. Gloria, you want us to wait for Danielus, or?
We could play the second video that was supposed to be later, the promotional video produced by Formedil, the Icaro coordinator.
Okay.
While waiting for Daniel to be back, just to fill this gap. Thank you, Larissa.
Be careful of the sound. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we may pass to the next video, the video produced by Formedil.
Our world is moving fast. Knowledge and innovation are too. Technology is connecting us like never before, giving us the opportunity to build capacity from a vast spectrum of subjects. Brick by brick, European training projects are building a solid and smart foundation to help young generations, especially women, to enter new segments of the job market. A new dawn is breaking over the construction sector thanks to the smooth integration of technology, skills, and know-how. This crossroads of expertise is breathing life into a new generation of site technicians, brushing the long-settled dust off the construction sector's portrait. Energy efficiency, digital, organizational, and behavioral skills lie at the heart of the new work site technician's profile, a melting pot of hard and soft skills. Grab this professional opportunity to nurture your future and raise your skills in the construction sector.
Okay, Danielus is back. So let's try to make his presentation once again. Sorry for the inconvenience. Danielus, if you can hear us, the floor is yours. Let's try again. Are you back?
Of course. Sorry, disappeared somehow. And maybe you can tell from which slide the video has stopped.
Yes, actually it was the 12th.
The 12th. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about digitalization of construction. So probably the most important qualification unit today is digitalization, and main competencies of this unit is ability to get the information and data needed for the construction work, ability to translate information with highly technical content to the personnel responsible for execution, ability to collaborate with the other construction stakeholders and colleagues, also ability to create simple digital content for the explanation of tasks and critical issues concerning the construction site, ability to collect and manage personal and other sensitive data. Let's talk about soft skills, and this competence has two main units: ability to communicate and present the construction progress report, and of course, ability to do problem solving with digital tools. The final unit and its main competencies are like these: knowledge about and ability to manage technical aspects of the construction project, knowledge and ability to manage industrialized construction, knowledge and ability to manage water supply and sewerage system installation, knowledge and ability to manage heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, knowledge and ability to manage installation of electricity network, low voltage, and communication systems. Duration of Icaro qualification. Our partnership recommends to have this course for about 600 hours, with a minimum of 120 work-based learning hours. This will correspond to 24 ECTS credits. 25 hours corresponds to 1 ECTS credits, and this deviation of credits looks like this in those 7 units. First unit goes with 2 credits, second one with 4 credits, third one with 5 credits, fourth unit with 2 credits, fifth one 5 credits, then we have 4 credits, and the last one with 2 credits. Integrating of Icaro qualification to existing trainings. It is in order to ensure that their organization will get the best results from the use of the Icaro qualification units, web providers needs to go through a sequence of processes in different phases of integration. The integration methodology can be implemented in 4 main specific steps. It will be preparation of the course, designing the course, of course, testing and evaluating it, and the final step is optimization and execution of the course. Thank you for your attention and good luck successfully implementing Icaro qualification.
Giorgio, we can't hear you. Could you please unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, no, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I was saying, so sorry for this inconvenience. I was saying thanks to Danielus for this very clear and analytic description of this new profile and of the competences that should be acquired to perform the tasks connected to the construction site technician role. I think this is a very good basis for training providers and trainers for developing and updating this qualification. Now the floor is to Mrs. Marta Heviafano from the Fundación Laboral de la Construcción del Principado de Asturias. She will speak about the influence of the Eqf recommendation in the Icaro quality assurance systems. I am very curious to hear this presentation, since in my past I had quite a significant role in the building of Eqf recommendation and all the activity which then came. So I am very happy to give the floor to Marta. Please, Marta.
Thank you very much, Giacomo. And I will share with you, my presentation here. It's okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Okay, here we go. So yes, I'm going to share with you the influence of the Eqf recommendation on Icaro quality assurance systems. Ensuring quality in vocational educational training has always been a priority for the European Commission in order to help users and providers of vocational educational training to improve their training and make good choices according to the market needs. Through this presentation, we will overview the VET instruments created by the European Commission in order to understand why Eqf. We're going to go through a brief explanation of Eqf. I'm going to share with all of you the aims of our study, the methods used, and the key findings, to conclude with some reflections. To better understand Eqf recommendation, we shall go back to 2002, when the EU member states decided under the Copenhagen process to establish a set of European tools and principles to help make qualifications, experiences, and skills better appreciated and easier to be recognized throughout the European Union. The aim was, and still is, to give greater access to learning or employment opportunities in different countries and encourage greater mobility for individuals, businesses, and other organizations. Some of these relevant instruments are, for example, Europas. Europas, set in 2004 and recently revised at the end of 2018, helps people make their qualifications and skills better understood and recognized throughout Europe, increasing their employment prospects. More than 30 European countries are currently participating in the Europas initiative. One relevant tool developed under the Europas initiative is the Europas Diploma Supplement or Europas Supplement, which are documents accompanying a higher education diploma or AVET certification, providing a description of the studies completed in order to make it easier to understand the qualification acquired when applying abroad for a job or other courses. As a matter of fact, several European supplements have been used by Icaro partners to analyze the training offered in each country and identify gaps and common aspects in order to develop the guidelines for the new Icaro qualification seen in deliverable 3.1. Another European tool set up in 2008 and revised in 2017 is the European Quality Framework for Lifelong Learning, EQF. That is an 8-level learning outcomes-based framework for all types of qualifications, and that aims to better link different national qualification systems, acting as a translation device for employers and individuals to better understand qualifications from different European countries, thus making it easier to work, study, or hire staff abroad. All EU member states plus other 11 countries, such as Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, are involved. As a practical example, and as we have already seen in the previous presentation, the new Icaro qualification has been set in EQF level 5. And last but not least, Council recommendations on two instruments were adopted in 2009. The first one, the European Credit System for Vocational Education and Training, EQF, that was developed to improve the recognition, accumulation, and transfer of learning outcomes, supporting mobility and lifelong learning between different countries and at different levels. Icaro Qualification has already been developed using EQF concepts and principles, such as learning outcomes, units, EQF points, and credits to support transparency, comparability, transferability, as well as recognition between European countries, as we have seen in the previous presentation with Nilius. And closing the cycle in 2009, it was launching EQF, the European Quality Assurance Reference Framework for Vocational Education and Training, which intends that countries define a strategy to improve the systems of quality in VET based on a quality cycle and the use of performance indicators and assessment providers. The importance of maintaining quality in VET was initially articulated in the 2000 Lisbon strategy. This stated that the transition to a knowledge-based economy requires modern and adaptable VET. The 2002 Copenhagen Declaration proposed EU cooperation in quality assurance in VET in order to support mutual trust and the recognition of qualifications. Besides, recent policy ambitions have opened up discussions on a possible revision of the underlying recommendation and have put a greater emphasis on this application beyond school-based VET and have introduced a focus on establishing continuous information and feedback loops in VET linked to labor market intelligence. An Icaro project has contemplated the quality assurance for the new qualification for the construction site technicians. EQF is a tool to be used on a voluntary basis by the member states and all stakeholders to promote and monitor continuous improvement of VET according to common criteria and principles. EQF includes a quality assurance and improvement cycle consisting of 4 phases: planning, implementation, evaluation, and review. The 4 phases of the model are described by the recommendation through a list of criteria and quality descriptors, simplifying the actions to be performed for each phase. Revised in 2017, these descriptors may be applied at all levels of VET provision and in a range of situations, including work-based learning, which involves the acquisition of knowledge and skills through carrying out and reflecting on tasks in vocational context in the workplace or in a VET institution. They can also be applied to school-based provision, apprenticeships, lifelong learning programs, in-company training, and non-formal and informal learning. In addition, the recommendation proposes a set of indicators relating to the different aspects of the training. The use of indicators is not compulsory, but it is a useful reference point to compare some strategic aspects of the educational process. There are many ways to use the indicators. For example, they can be used for monitoring, for comparison, or for control. Indicators used to check the consistency of VET with EQF are the following 10 on the slide. According with the list of indicators, Icaro VET providers selected 8 out of the 10 to ensure that the path of delivery of the new qualification meets the criteria EQF. The main objective and goal applying the EQF recommendation is to enhance the implementation of the Icaro new qualification for construction site technician, as well as the development of the culture of quality management in vocational education and training. To reach these goals, Icaro partners have established some guidelines on quality assurance for VET providers who will introduce the new qualification gathered in deliverable 4.2, ECAVET Quality Assurance in Icaro. These guidelines were meant to be potentially implemented once the new profile of CST, Construction Site Technician, was adopted as a training program by the Icaro VET organization. So once the live project has reached its end. So from now on. Obviously, during the life of the project, Icaro VET providers have just had time to equip ourselves and start collecting data to build the indicators, as well as to provide some evidence of the start of the collection of indicators through an experimentation whose results will be presented further on. The following boxes summarizes the main features and the operational proceedings of the indicators chosen to be used by the VET providers introducing the new qualification. In the first column, the 8 indicators selected are described. The second column presents the rationale, which explains why it is important to collect the indicator. The third column explains how to create the indicator. The fourth column presents the criteria to say whether the result of the indicator may be considered positive or not, or at least to monitor the progress of the activity. In order to show some evidence of applying ECAVET in a planning phase, Icaro VET Providers Organization have recently tested the procedure developed in deliverable D42 using 2 Google Forms based on the 2 schemes tools implemented to facilitate the collection of data. The first one on the slide, a self-assessment provider that is a reflection on how each VET Icaro partner gathers, analyzes, and uses the data concerning their quality assurance. The second one, a performance of indicators on the slide, that is a data collection of the VET Icaro partners for indicator 1 and indicator 2. Only 2 of the 8 ECAVET indicators selected for Icaro because the rest of them are meant to be collected once the qualification is implemented as a training program. Nevertheless, just to mention that with the training programs already implemented by the Icaro VET providers, indicator 3, participation in VET programs, and indicator 4, completion of VET programs are widely used among Icaro VET providers. 10 VET providers organizations have participated from the 3 European countries, Italy, Lithuania, and Spain. Apart from the Icaro VET partners, we have counted on the contribution of some Italian scuole edile. Let's see what we have found. Through Scheme 1, Icaro VET providers have shown that they get the raw data, analyze, use, and store them in a high quality way. Icaro VET organization have also measured the 2 first ECAVET indicators selected for the Icaro qualification using Scheme 2. These are the results and recommendations. Concerning indicator 1, share of providers applying internal quality assurance systems, all VET providers introducing the new qualification have shown evidence of applying a defined quality assurance system, being the QA certification the most common way used. Nonetheless, only a few of them have activated the mechanisms needed to implement the new qualification at national, regional level. The main reason is because the qualification is not ready, underlining that it will be done when it is ready to be submitted. A case of good practice comes from Italy, where together with the 2021 call for higher technical training scheduled for this month, a request of implementation will be submitted. They will present a project related to the construction site technician profile based on the new common qualification developed with the activities of Icaro project. Concerning indicator 2, investment in training of teachers and trainers, the success criteria was established at 100% of trainees participating in accredited training programs. Results, well, the percentage of teachers and trainees participating in training programs is quite different among partners. 50% doesn't reach a 40% of teachers trainers trained, while the other 50% of vet providers almost reach an 80% of teachers training having participated in training programs. However, we have to keep working on reach the success criteria of 100% of trainers participating in training programs. 2 years ago, during the kickoff meeting held in Rome, Eqf was presenting for the first time to the partnership. The lack of awareness of Eqf caused us a kind of security about how to face the introduction of its principles in our QA systems in order to make the upcoming implementation of the potential new qualification for the construction site technician a success for improving training according to the market needs. Too many challenges for a start. Now, 2 years after, with a new qualification for the construction site technician developed and ready to be implemented, Icaro vet providers are also better qualified to monitor and control it, measuring not only the level of participation and completion rates as we are used to, but also monitoring the efficiency of placement of these professionals in companies while we are doing labor market intelligence for a continuous improvement. I take this opportunity to thank, first of all, Mr. Giorgio Alluli for its contribution with his great expertise on Eqf. He enlightened us, me, from the very beginning of the project, as well as the support of Mormedil, represented by Rosella, to help me face this task. I would also like to thank my colleagues from FLC Asturias for sharing their QA expertise with the project, and of course, all my appreciation to all the Icaro partners, even the silent partners, for their always relevant and professional feedback, with a lot of support and patience, I should add. Thank you to you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to Marta. I think that the use of European tools like Europas, EQF, Eqf, and Eqf recommendation tools, indicators in particular, can give a greater input to the implementation of this new qualification, not only in the 4 countries involved in this project, but also in the larger context, in the larger European context. In particular, I would say the use of the Eqf indicators can help the training providers to check not only to check the results of the training provision, but mainly to continuously improve. This is very important. Improve the quality of the training, we learn from this presentation that much work has been done so far, but also that some work has still to be done in the future. So thanks, Marta, to this analysis, and thanks to all the training providers who want to improve using this European instrument. Now, I will say last but not least, I will give the floor to Mrs. Gloria Oddo, which is Assistant Project Officer at the Architects Council of Europe. Mrs. Oddo will quickly present the results of the Icaro survey on how to make the construction sector more inclusive. Gloria, Mrs. Oddo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the attendees for resisting until the very last presentation. So, as I mentioned before, I work at the Architect Council of Europe, which is one of the Icaro consortium partners. Following up what has been said, what has been shown by the last promotional video, I'm going to present this survey results about the inclusiveness in the construction sector. So this was a communication and dissemination activity launched in July last year and then closed in December. We collected the results in January this year and then launched consequently an awareness campaign in February and March. The survey was prepared by the Architect Council of Europe together with the Alma Mater Studiorum, UNIBO. And I take this occasion to thank Dr. Angela Santangelo for the precious support on this activity. The survey was translated in 4 languages. So the 4 official languages, as you already know, of the projects are, besides English, Spanish, Italian, and Lithuanian. And 100% of 100 participants answered to our survey, and we consider all of them valid, and also including non-professional in the sector. Speaking about the demographic data of the participants, as we can see, the majority was female, 66%, and in their 40s. And of course, we reached more the countries involved directly in the Icaro project. So 47% were coming from Spain, 28 from Italy, and 13 from Lithuania, and then other European countries. Then for what it concerns educational and professional background, the majority works, 57%, and there's a master degree. Then here, concerning the experience in the construction sector, 28% has over 20 years of work experience, and 23% between 11 and 20 years of work experience. And here there's an interesting data about the profession profiles we reached. So beside other that was not really specified, we reached architects, engineers, researchers, and teachers and trainers. So all the construction industry stakeholders, or at least some of them. So as mentioned during this day, since the beginning, the main target groups of the Icaro project are women and youngsters. So we mostly address to them, and we're trying to with this qualification profile to attract them to the sector. So we dedicated one section of this survey to women and how and what can be the main issues affecting the decision of women to take a professional path in construction. Now I'm going to read the 2 most significant ones. So if we consider the option agree and strongly agree as mergeable, let's say, we can say here that the third statement, women are discouraged to work in the construction sector due to the prevalence of men, reached a total of 47% if we consider both option as mergeable. And another statement that which reached the majority of agree and strongly agree was also the fifth one. So working in construction sites challenges women more than men. Additional reasons preventing women to work in construction, in the construction sector. These were interesting open-ended comments to the survey. Most of the attendees of the participants mentioned about gender stereotypes, discrimination issues, sexism episodes in the workplace. And also other comments were related to the construction sector itself. Beside the pay gap, we have also labor conditions which are not really attractive. And also the construction sector is always stigmatized as a physical and tiring work environment with a lack of industrialization and digitalization. And in general, is not really perceived yet as a sector willing to cultural changes. Possible solutions that were provided by our participants. So adapting facilities for women, reducing materials weight, introducing a new and friendly construction system and machinery, and digitalization. So these were related to the workplace itself. Then from a wider perspective, a lot of participants said that there is a need of more conference panels, more role modeling campaign, and women mentorship programs. So this is more related to not only to the construction site environment, but also to a wider scale. And also some interesting comments were related to how to educate workers, so providing information and education on gender equality among workers, but also educating the companies themselves. So trying to explain companies why they could benefit and how they could benefit from gender diversity. And last but not least, which this can be applied to every work environment, I guess, it's looking at abilities and skills, not gender or other discrimination factors. Then second target group, it's about youngsters in the construction sector. So how can we attract them? How can we convince them that construction can be an appealing work environment? So here the feedbacks were a little bit more mixed, I would say. For instance, two statements with agree or strongly agree opinion on that. For instance, the first statement, construction jobs are part of the occupational segregation by age. So the misleading opinion that there are men's jobs or youngsters' jobs and so on. So here we have 26% agree on that opinion, and 25 strongly agree, while 31 are neutral. Then youngsters are discouraged to work in the construction sector due to the limited career possibilities. Here we have 31% agreed, but 32 are neutral. So this can be another interesting data to analyze. And the third question, youngsters are discouraged to work in the construction sector since they are concerned about health and safety. Here, the 29% disagree, so they didn't really identify it as a main issue, but the 28 said it was neutral. So again, our audience was not really homogeneous, I would say. And last question, last statement, youngsters are discouraged to work in the construction sector due to the perception of old-fashioned jobs, so lack of digitalization and so on. Here, the 34% agrees that this could be one of the reasons preventing youngsters to embrace a career path in construction. Then 18% were neutral and 16% again strongly agree. So open-ended comments to this session of the survey. What we didn't really consider was that actually one of the reasons can be low wages. So this can be one of the reasons preventing youngsters to work in construction, and also lack of job stability and lack of career development. So they don't see it as a long-term possibility. Possible solutions also suggested by our participants are raising the salaries and ameliorating the labor conditions. And here again, promoting mentors and examples of successful construction workers. So stories where it's explained how they start their journey and how we can take different ways work way up the system, education, and so on. Then another comment again about robotization and the lack of digitalization, and so make arduous and less secure tasks, improve this kind of tasks, and investing in training of technicians for the growing phase of industrialization and construction 4.0. So what we decided to do in parallel with the development of the Icaro qualification scheme was in the immediate future to run an awareness campaign due to also our means and to the current situation. So we wanted to meet and make other events and so on, but due to the conditions, we decided this was the easiest way to reach more people. So as claimed by several participants in the survey, in order to make the construction sector more inclusive, further role models are needed. And this is why we planned an awareness campaign together with the Formedil, the project coordinator. So we ran a series of interviews to key figures in construction. So 3 students, actually 2 are students and 1 just graduated in architecture and engineering fields. 2 restorers, 2 trainees from our training centers in the consortium, in the Icaro consortium, 1 engineer, 1 building surveyor, and 1 entrepreneur who is also a construction worker. So he's a really young man who owns his own company and works for it as a construction worker. So here, let me just play this slide. So here you can see the graphic layout we use for the campaign. You can see it from in the news section of our site, and then also the social media. So this is how it looks on Facebook and Twitter. And the interviews were translated also in Italian, so you will read them in English and Italian. And yeah, and this is how one of the interview looks. So yeah, if you would like to know more about this campaign, although the project will end, basically end this month, but the website and social media will be active for the next 2 years. So you have plenty of time to check this campaign. And here I leave you some links. We will provide you all the slides so you can check them afterwards. So we have the website, the Icaro website, and also the Icaro social media. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you very much, Gloria, for this interesting analysis about women and youngest participation to the building sector, and about the factors preventing a larger and a more qualified role of women and youngsters in this sector. And in particular, the possible solution, which maybe can be introduced to enlarge the women and the youngster participation. Now is time for some questions. you have been raised during this event. I will call again the Architects Council of Europe and Gloria to assist me with that. So again, Gloria, if you may go on to see these questions, what has been questioned and what can be answered.
Yes, so we have a question from Michela in the chat. If it's possible, we kindly ask you to send us the slides. Of course, Michela, we will provide you the slides and the recording of the session, so you still have time to check what most interests you. So beside this question, there is a question for Laura Mesa. Somebody asked you how national qualification system can be improved. Laura, can you?
Yeah.
Are you there? Okay.
Yes, hello. Yes, sure. As I mentioned during my presentation, the role of the social partners are crucial in order to improve upgrading or also elaborating new qualifications. And as was also explained during this conference, there are many of the partners of this consortium, of this project, which are paritarian institutions, which means that their representatives are social partners. And I also explained the role that some of the partners play with the public organizations in order to improve these qualifications. And also, of course, these kind of projects funded by the different programs of the European Commission are also crucial in order to identify the skill gaps and needs within the sector, and in order to improve the sectors and also the training systems of the different European country members.
Okay, thank you, Laura.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you. There is a question for Marco Bragadin. If you are there, which will be the role of BIM in the future of the construction sector? Could you please answer, Marco?
Yes. Yes. Okay, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear and we can see you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so well, the role of building information modeling will be surely a most important one. Still, there are some barriers to the implementation of building information modeling, and these barriers, well, maybe there are, well, almost all governments of the European Union take measure and issued some regulations or legislative decrees concerning the use of building information modeling, especially in the public works. Some barriers in the implementation will be are surely to detect in the capability of using these technologies by small and medium enterprises, okay? Because usually these technologies are used in large projects still today. And also there is a cultural gap, as many of your speakers presented. There is a cultural gap in the construction sector, and this cultural gap needs to be addressed by a specific learning activities, as also most of the speakers told us today. Okay.
Thank you, Marco. There is another question in the chat arriving now. Maybe you can start this conversation and the other panelists can take over.
What is the strategy to produce?
Yeah, I'm going to read it for. Yeah, I'm going to read it for all the audience. What is the strategy to produce a cultural change in the construction sector? how to apply what has been explained by Professor Bragadin.
Okay, cultural change in the construction sector, it will be very difficult to achieve, because construction sector is a traditional sector, and this is typical of low technology sectors, but also of risky sectors. Okay, when you have a lot of uncertainty, is players they would like to play the role they always have been playing, because the uncertainty makes operators unsure. Okay. So the strategy to produce a cultural change maybe can be digitalization, because digitalization brings also some changes in the sector, in the business model, because surely build information modeling was born in not for the construction sector, so it was born in a collaborative project environment, and the traditional design bid build approach does not support this kind of technology fully, doesn't fully support this. So the strategy could be to improve digitalization, because the digitalization, the sharing of information, and also will bring different business models, and this could bring us towards some changes in our sector.
Yes, I agree with you. And also, architects are not architects only anymore. They are asked to have also management knowledge as well as engineers. So sure, there are more hybrids profiles nowadays. This is true. I don't know if some other speakers, maybe from the training centers, would like to address this question from their point of view. The question again is, what is the strategy to produce a cultural change in the construction sector? If someone else would like to implement these answers. Okay, then we have one last question for Marta Evia. This is more a technical one. You have only contemplated 8 of the 10 indicators suggested by Eqf. Why not all of them? Marta, could you please answer this question?
Well, we have decided to select those indicators that should facilitate bed providers basic information to control the permanent consistency and adequacy of the qualification according to the market needs up to the minute. Indicator 7, unemployment rate, and indicator 8, prevalence of vulnerable groups, the ones that we haven't contemplated, they both share a common purpose that it is to get information from policy decision making at bed system level. They're of course relevant, but at a context level, not in the field for us, for bed providers. This was because.
Okay, thank you, Marta. I don't know if Giorgio would like to say something else to wrap up the session.
Yes, okay.
Please.
Well, maybe first remark that we are very on time. I don't think it is usual in so large events, so large conferences. So I think it's good to stay very precise on the time we have foreseen in advance. So remark, what other remarks? First, to enter really in what we think. First, congratulations again to the project partners. for having taken this project forward in this difficult period. But I think precisely this period makes this project acquire further importance, because we may see that the construction sector constitutes a strategic lever for recovery and development of all economies. Secondly, we learned a lot today from the analysis, the surveys, and the proposals made by the project partners. Third, everything confirmed how strategic is this new profile and the importance of having made a step forward in a transnational context for innovating and updating the training for this profile. So, concluding our conference, thank you all for joining us today. And a special thank to the speakers and all the people which made this conference possible, in particular to Nicolas Cherry. I must thank also the Lithuanian. I must thank also the Lithuanian Chamber of Commerce, and in particular Cristina Buicate and Ginta Ceseviciene, which gave a significant contribution to all the project tasks. In case you arrived late or you missed some of the presentations, the event has been recorded and the recorded video will be sent to you in the following weeks. Thank you very much again and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.